I'd like to thank you all for this opportunity to be here. I'll sing a song that is from my clan, from my family, and that I learned with my grandfather. It's a ceremonial song, first of all for the rivers, because in our nation we know that life began in the water, and so we sing to the waters all the time. And then to the forests. The forest in our language is yoko. And so this is giving thanks to the Great Spirit for all this beautiful creation that we are the sons and daughters of. This is a song when we arrive in new places, and I just came from Paris, but before I was in Brazil, far away from here. And we use this song to compliment to when we arrive in new places. And for me, it's being really strange because it's a song for the forest and I miss it so much. We live in the largest forest in the world, the Amazon rainforest. And now we have reached 20% of deforestation of this Amazon. And when we reach 25% of deforestation, it will desertify. It won't last forever. The indigenous territories protect 22% of biodiversity in the world. We concentrate this life because we think and we relate differently with this life everywhere. And we are walking all over the world to share all this love for nature. And I am really, really happy and really happy to be here and meet new people that really work for that, because we feel the same thing. What is important? So sharing this song is not just art, it's not just a song, it's sharing the spirit of the forest. And I'm really glad to share it with all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me. I had not heard of TreeSisters before, but I thought the very name was an alluring and definite urge to participate. My own qualifications are limited, except that most extraordinarily, I had a great friend who was an extremely rich man. I don't have many rich friends, but he happened to be accidentally rich as far as I could tell. But anyway, he was a publisher. He published computer magazines when computers were invented. His name was Felix Dennis, and he was also a poet. And on his deathbed, he called me up and he said, I haven't got any living relatives. I thought, God, my ship is in. I haven't any living relatives, but I'm going to leave all my money to the planting of a 30,000 acre forest north of Stratford-on-Avon. I wanted to be called the Heart of England Forest. And so far we've planted, he said, I want you to be the chair, and we've planted 8,500 acres, which is nothing by comparison with what Clare does every waking moment of the day. But at any rate, we are planting English broadleaf trees. The difficulty at the moment is Brexit, because Brexit is holding up land sales. It's very difficult to buy land. A lot of farmers want to get out of land up there. It's a perfect place to do it. Well, we're going to deliver. We have 3 patches of land, big patches of forest. Of course, if you visit, it tends to be a lot of plastic, but you know what that is. That's all about resisting the squirrels. But we've also mature trees as well. But anyway, there we are. Now, having said that and justified my being here at all, here is Clare Dubois. Give her a good welcome.
Good grief.
And we're standing up to put you at ease, because if we sit down, you won't see us. And I always think you need to see the person who's talking to you, if at all possible, unless you're on the telephone. So, Clare, TreeSisters, go for it.
Before I do, thank you so much for being here. You know, the fact that you can read the news and then miraculously appear is extraordinary.
Thank the bicycle.
Thank the bicycle. Thank the bicycle. I want to thank you all. This is not a minor miracle for me, to be perfectly honest with you, that you're all here. And Howard, it wasn't a crazy idea, for the brilliant idea of doing this. Yeah. And for everybody that I know has been sending out the invites and reaching out, and to my team as well, who've done so much to help this happen, and to the Conduit Club. We think we know why we're here. I always like to hand it over to the mystery, because this happening, these minutes that we have together, have never happened before and will never happen again, ever. And so there is a completely unique constellation here. And that brings all the ingredients of your brilliance, of your audacity, of your complete uniqueness, which creates a particular recipe that is a one-time recipe. And we don't know what this beingness actually has in terms of its potential at all. Now, I have a roaring agenda, and I will own it, and that is to seed each one of you into the heart of TreeSisters somewhere, so that between us we can take this to scale, because it needs to go to scale. And not just TreeSisters, anything that is to do with restoring our planet needs to go to scale, and needs to go to scale really fast.
But before you do, I want to ask you about what you said at the beginning of the whole session.
Which was?
Well, what was said about you? That you were planting how many thousand?
It's not me.
No, but I mean you. Look, we are all you, and we are all we.
We meaning a lot of indigenous peoples, a lot of men and women, a lot of women actually across Cameroon and Nepal and Brazil, North and South India, Madagascar, and where else have I forgotten? God. 2 major projects in Madagascar.
Madagascar needs trees, my God.
Madagascar
Raped.
needs trees extremely
trees ravaged, a place that had trees,
yeah,
and then had them taken away.
But actually, where we're planting in Brazil, we've got 3% left of what was the Atlantic rainforest. Where we're planting in Nepal, we've got between 3 and 7% left of what was the Japa forest. Where we're planting in Kenya, the forest is gone on the north slopes of Mount Kenya. And what people don't seem to understand about trees, apart from almost anything, is that there are rain creators. If you have a forested continent, the updraft of the transpiration and the water that they actually create through the heating, especially in the tropics, pulls in water from the oceans. So they don't just create rain by seeding it and transpiring it, they also bring the moisture that is required from the oceans. When you deforest, the oceans pull the water back off the land. So because of deforestation, we've lost 50% of our rain already on this planet, and we're heating. So why the tropics for us is a multifaceted thing. First, when I had the car crash in which TreeSisters was given to me, they said you have to reforest the tropics within 10 years. That was before I fully understood why Gaia, in her absolute brilliance, had arranged ice at her caps to cool, and then fast-growing tropical trees around her waist where it's the hottest, so that she could use that heat to create the cooling and the rainfall, that then the pressure difference between the hot and the cold allows the hydrological cycle that actually makes our world livable, makes our world fertile, that basically moves rain around the place. And so for me, when we're talking about trees, we're not just talking about climate change. Of course we want fast-growing tropical trees, forests, actually forests everywhere. We need all of them to get our carbon out of the atmosphere, but it's more than carbon. It's rainfall in a huge way, and it's hydrological balancing, it's meteorological balancing. They are the great stabilizers. We can't lose them, simply said.